Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's episode 54, A Toy Kind of Mood. I am your host, KJ, and as always, we have the man, myth, the legend, Travis Moody. What's going on with you, man?
What's up, dude? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. And I know that we had some good news this week. We had Fan First Friday with the Power Rangers, and we'll get to that in a bit. Some really cool figs there on the horizon. But first and foremost, we got to talk about the HasLab. We had 3 HasLabs going on. 2 made it, 1 did not. It was a Thunderdome of crowdfunding, basically. But the star of the show right now, Skystriker, G.I. Joe HasLab. I know you put some money into this, and we were all watching it. We were like, oh man, it's going to fund. Like, it's going to do what the Rancor did with Black Series, RIP Rancor, which we will touch on right after this. But yeah, man, how stoked were you to watch that count tally up until the final moments?
Well, I was going to say, I've never been so happy to see $500 come out of my bank account, but then I'd be lying because that was the Xbox Series X price.
Okay.
So, and we had the Game Awards last night, so congratulations to all the winners. I'm representing games right here. Witcher season 2 is just about here. I think it's already reviewed. So, yeah, I'm kind of in a gaming mood, but let's get into a Skystriker mood. Yo, Joe.
Yes.
Yo, Joe, let's get out of the video game realm for a second.
Yeah. Shout out to Geeksdom Gamescast. We'll get to that in a second. We'll bring it back like G4.
Defunct. Yeah, it'll come back. Mikey, we miss you, buddy. All right. Speaking of Halo, this one, Halo jumped from 7,683. We're talking the Skystriker to 16,800 plus 805-ish on the final day. One day, bro.
1 day.
9K, which eclipsed the Rancor in 1 day.
Yeah,
1 day of funding for this G.I. Joe Skystriker zoomed past the Black Series Star Wars Rancor in 1 day. It's total. This is an amazing accomplishment for the G.I. Joe brand, Emily Bader and Lenny Panzeka. I mean, you guys, they kicked ass. They stayed with it through the end. That last week push was undeniable. The Cobra Commander hack was what the juice that flowed, and then that FOMO kicked in on that last day.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. You had the great sit reps with Emily and Lenny, like showing off the stands, showing off all the different things, the wheels coming down, the wings folding up. I'm telling you, man, 118. I had plans for a 118 collection, and I would have been right there with you. Shout out to you yourself getting 2 of these bad boys, right? So you're gonna have 1 Joe mode and 1 Cobra, or what? What's up?
Yeah,
what you gonna do?
And also, I was almost thinking 3, but it's really hard to get $750 out of your bank account not seeing anything for a year and a half. That's a little bit of a hit. I know a lot of people went 5s on it. They got 5 on it, but we got Flight Suit Scarlet at 13K. We got the one I really wanted was
Night Force Ripcord.
Halo jumping Night Force. So at 16K, right in the final hour, we got
final
Ripcord.
Moments.
I was watching basketball with a lady friend of mine, and I just cheered, and she's like, "What are you talking about? There's nothing happening on the screen." I was like, "Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Something on my phone. Don't worry about it." Unlocked. Loved it. Love it. I've said this from the get, KJ. I was like, Joe needs good PR after the Cobra Island Target fiasco, and I was thinking, if it didn't reach these tiers, unlike the Rancor Black Series because of the Disney tie-in, I thought maybe they would just give us some of these stretch goals. And seeing how it got almost 17K, and we needed about
18,000.
We needed 1,200 more to get the ketchup and mustard condiment. Hashtag condiment twins.
Hashtag condiment twins. Yeah.
The pit crew. I don't know, but we might just get this. I don't know. At worst, we'll have to buy it, but I'm almost sure it's going to be available either Hasbro Pulse exclusive, which, that's fine. We got to pay a little bit extra for a couple more of these bad boys, fine. But they might just give it to us. Maybe we'll see what happens this week. We'll see what happens, but yeah.
Yeah, you have about 16,000 lucky fans who put the money in to get that Skystriker. I could see them releasing that 2-pack O-rings, probably price I mean, if they wanted to, they could price it the same as Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, but
I'd
hopefully
say
they come down on
30,
that price a little bit. Yeah.
$34.99. But like I said, they might just give it to us because we're so close. Lenny did go on to say in the last sit rep, actually the live stream. I don't even, it wasn't even a sit rep. It was the live stream on IG
Okay.
on the like last day. And their goal, KJ, was to announce that they backed it, because if you noticed, they were like the 9,800 range with only
Yeah.
and they were like, oh, we're gonna get it with the live
No, I
stream.
saw the confetti on top of the Skystriker.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty fun.
But then Cobra Commander hacked it again, and
Oh.
in the clicker, the timer froze, and so people were getting like, "What's going on? There's a live stream, and no one's buying this." But yeah, it was just an error. I'm sure people were hitting their F5s, and they kind of jammed up HasbroPulse.com, for a little bit. But Lenny did say on the show that no character, even though it's O-ring and they're reintroducing this,
Yeah.
no character is I mean the sky's the limit, right? Just to be right on the nose. I mean, he did say original Sunbow characters that, like, let's say Pythona,
Okay.
right? He doesn't have an O-ring. We will likely see a Pythona O-ring,
or the old school General Flag from the very first episode, something like that. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, the original GI Joes that were never in the toy line for whatever reason, or they were never in the original toy line, meaning the O-ring. They're possibility. So it's not going to just rehashes, remakes. We're going to see a ton of those, like we saw Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes. And but yeah, I mean, people are excited. I think getting that mail-in Mickey Mouse Cobra Commander was huge, and then a Sunbow Cobra Trooper. I mean, that's crazy. That's a lot of reasons why people bought 5.
I mean, they also have the Cobra Pit Crew, so they got to do the Condiment Twins. It's like you gotta have both.
Yeah, exactly.
So go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I also noticed, following His Tank. This is the most positive His Tank has ever been. As you know, it's a war zone, right? His Tank. Yeah. But reading through, I mean, there's like 500 threads, and it was just constant. It was just the joy of fans, and it was actually overwhelming. A message form about anything geek overly this positive, I don't think I've ever read any, and it was wild. I did notice an uptick in fans being like, okay, now I'm gonna buy the O-ring 2-packs, Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. I hated the $40 price, but the FOMO is kicking in. They only sold 10K of that. They're probably gonna set about 20K, at least 15K of that 2-pack now, once that Striker was back. So
yeah, it makes it viable. A lot of love and care went into that Skystriker, and if they can extend that to the brand on the 1/18 scale, the O-rings, it's just happy days ahead. Speaking of which, what do you think's the next O-ring scale HasLab is going to be? What are your picks?
Well, seeing how Emily talked a lot about storytelling, because the whole sell on this Skystriker, along with it being the 40th anniversary of Real American Hero, and it wasn't the dream project for longtime Joe fans, because I've already got 2 or 3 Skystrikers from 2011 to 1983, but I think they wanted something iconic, and I think it was supposed to tie in a Maverick, Top Gun Maverick, and that fell through with the delay that we saw there. So I think with storytelling, it only makes sense for a Cobra Rattler. That's like, it's not like, it just makes sense. And now could they just come out with that retail? I don't know, like just a Hasbro Pulse exclusive made to order. That would actually be pretty smart. Maybe like sometime in 2023, like maybe pre-orders can go up right around the time we start getting our Skystrikers. Sure. Will it be another HasLab? I mean, that's a possibility. Then you could do the opposite. You could do G.I. Joe gets themselves a Rattler and kind of, go reverse decal with that and kind of reverse characters. But based on His Tank and G.I. Joe forms, I think a lot of people want a Killer Whale. I mean, the flag is always the dream project. I don't think you instantly go to the flag on the second one. I think you got to go Cobra anyway, so Rattler makes sense. But if you want to go by what fans are saying, I think the Whale makes sense. With Cutter and maybe some green shirts and whatever. And maybe like you even get like some eels, with a Firefly and the eels, or just something like in a separate, like maybe a small jet boat or something, kind of chasing after the whale, some kind of espionage shit or something. So yeah, I think Radler, if they're gonna not go retail, if they're gonna go retail with it, then Killer Whale. I mean, obviously we want a flag and a Terror Dome, right?
Yeah,
But
a
yeah,
flag that I can move into once I get kicked out of my apartment.
right. It'll
Uh,
just lay across my bed. But yeah, I
yeah,
mean, that's that. I'm trying to be sensible with this. I'm not even gonna
yeah.
talk classified HasLab at this point. I can't even imagine. I can't the scale is just too big, and I
I
just
mean, for vehicles like that, but you have smaller vehicles like your Awe Strikers, like your Cobra Stingers, like some of that stuff you can
yeah,
do.
no,
I mean,
his thing. Yeah.
I have 112 scale vehicles, not made from Hasbro, but like RC vehicles and whatnot. It's doable. You can put those on the shelves.
Yeah.
You might not need a HasLab for some of those Joe vehicles.
Might not. I think if I'm gonna go classified vehicles, I'm gonna start as a made-to-order Hasbro Pulse exclusive kind of thing, just to see, see if people are willing to pay for it, because these things are gonna be expensive. 112 scale vehicles. So
If the value's there, because I was finding quad vehicles from launch RC getting clearance for like what, 25, 28 bucks. You had the land speeder that was a buck 20, came with a co-pilot. You had to buy Luke separate. But you had those on Pulse, you had those on Big Bad Toy Store. I never saw those on shelves, but I saw them even on like Target.com. So it just really depends. I think they had to show that the market's healthy first and that there's a
yeah,
demand. I want Jeeps, I want trucks. You might have to do some of the smaller planes like the Skyhawk or the Trouble Bubble, but let's just start and see what sells. But if people want to play the clearance game and people hold off on this stuff, and then it ends up like the Jurassic World dinos, like the Indominus Rex or the Mosasaurus, where it's getting clearanced out, and we'll talk about some of the stuff that we saw at Walmart as well. If Hasbro loses money, there goes those vehicles. So sometimes collectors have a part to play in this too, and not supporting the brand off the pegs and on the shelves like they should. A HasLab takes all of that, out of the equation. Be like, okay, pay up front. It's loaded with figs. It's loaded with accessories, weapons, blast effects, decals, you name it. So the value's already there. So people might plunk 220, 160, the Victory Saber, 180, that kind of thing. Give the people what they want, give them a good price, give them a
Yep.
good value, and you don't have to worry about people playing the clearance game on the shelves.
Right. Exactly.
That's
Just to bounce off that, I would say next ComicCon, or if they do PulseCon again, that would be where I do my classified vehicle, because it's exclusive. It's a convention exclusive. You don't have to make that many. I know it's gonna be a hard to get item, but that's kind of how you judge. It's a good judging point. Instead of just coming out with something, hitting targets at Walmart, to maybe possibly people don't want to pay for the price. I like the start off with the exclusive, and then if that instantly sells out, then there's a market for it. I don't know. What do you think?
No, I think that's smart play.
Yeah.
It's once again, it's all about perceived value. It's about you
Yeah.
have this exclusive. I have FunCon exclusive Funko Pops. Well, we have the Blade. I got the Rocketeer. There's a lot to be said about having an exclusive product tied into a con, tied into an event, tied into an experience. Speaking of an experience, we have to talk about our old buddy Rancor from Black Series, man.
God
Star
bless.
Wars Black Series.
God bless the
HasLab
dead.
just couldn't make it to 9,000. Some weird tiers going on. What was your take on, like, with the marketing team, the product management of Rancor, and how it contributed to its demise, basically?
Well, if you scroll back about 5 or 6 episodes, I was in a different kind of mood then. I was elated. I was excited. We already knew the Rancor, was spoiled by our friend Patrick, who somehow just got a promotion.
Yeah.
Congratulations for getting a promotion. Okay. All right, Hasbro. I don't know what this team's thinking. I think the thing is, I'm gonna be on their side. I'm gonna be their lawyer for a second. I'm gonna
Okay.
say they have it tougher than Transformers teams and GI Joe teams, because they have a big boss. He's got big ears,
No.
and he runs the world, rules the world. And the only people that can come close are Bill Gates and Steve Jobs. That's Disney, and when you got to answer to Disney, you got to play a different game.
Mhm.
and Hasbro, Star Wars has to answer to Disney. So GI Joe, they get to do whatever they want. They get to chat with people and on his tank message forums. They get to do on the spot Instagram. They get to chat with people on Instagram. They get to throw parachute figures out windows.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
But in the world, in Disneyland and Disney World, you can't do any of that stuff, unfortunately. So you kind of come off more wooden. You kind of come off a far more corporate. And there's only, there's going to be careful with what you say. You can't say a whole lot, and it's tough. And I know we pick on this guy to death, Patrick Snyder, and he's been, part of the brand for a long time. I met him at ComicCon. He's an all right guy, but it's tough to be part of this team. And you think they're just always going to kick ass because it's Star Wars, the be all end all. But this is proof that we're in a digital marketing era now.
Yeah.
Right. We're not in the old. This isn't. You just can't be part of. We know this from Star Wars sequels. That
I mean, the love for the brand is all there, right?
Yeah. It is. I mean, this was. This is wild, right? But up until the pandemic, Star Wars was my favorite thing ever. Mm-hmm. It kind of still is because of Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Because of Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. Mm-hmm. If you want to include Kathleen Kennedy, that's fine. If not, that's fine. The Mandalorian, the Book of Boba Fett, Obi-Wan, these things are going to take my breath away. Mm-hmm. The Star Wars Black Series figures are amazing. The way they go about them, though, is not. We're going to talk pricing in a second and availability in a second as well, but
distribution problems.
Right. I'm still on the Star Wars Black Series team, but I could not be on the Rancor. I just couldn't. I don't even like the way it looks painted, but now, they made a statement, right? They said, they thanked their fans for trying. They're clearly moving on. I think the thing is they expected much higher, especially with Disney on their shoulders, and people have to remember how crowdfunds work. The minimum doesn't mean that the thing gets made. It just means it gets you to get more people to back it for the higher tiers. It is very strategic. Mm-hmm. So if it only hits, there's been Kickstarters where something's funded, but it just funded, they had to cancel it. It wasn't enough. Mm-hmm. And that's what happened with this. It came 500 people short. Of course they could have made it, but they were expecting double the number easily, just like the Skystriker. And without that, they said, forget it. And we'll probably see the Rancor, wouldn't you say, down the line with maybe the Gatekeeper in like a $199, if we're lucky, $159 package.
Maybe. I'm thinking if they can maybe scale it down a little bit for Return to Jedi 40th anniversary, I'd be very surprised. The thing about the movie, though, is we're talking about a movie that came out in 1983. Things were just different then, where Disney doesn't know how to go about making an Ula action figure who's a slave Twi'lek, skimpily dressed to get eaten by a Rancor. No slave Leia, right? It was just a different time then. So, Disney inherited this brand where you had an older sense of daring do and pulp sensibilities in their aesthetic that now Disney's tiptoeing around. So there's a lot having to do with the Rancor scene in particular that they don't even want to sell in plastic form. No. So they're already hampered. And then you talk about that price point where it's like, maybe this was a good thing the Rancor was priced at $350. Maybe this will make the Black Series team look at their pricing, because you talk about perceived value, you keep inflating those prices, the value is not going to be there. And, that goes on to our next subject. But I just want to know if you have any closing thoughts on Rancor.
I do too. A high percentage of that money goes to Lucasfilm and Disney. So where in-house brand, Hasbro, they own Transformers, they own Power Rangers, they own G.I. Joe. So that goes to them. We
got a release of the Book of Boba Fett Throne Room action figure, MSRP $31.99. $31.49, maybe save 50 cents or so after tax. Here in LA, came out to like $34. Is the most I've paid for one single action figure that wasn't loaded with a bunch of accessories and a bunch of weapons. Yeah, it's basically, they know that we'll pay it, but man, I don't know if I'm going to keep paying this stuff. I'm used to paying. I'm still looking for the 1999 price point to come back. I don't think it will. Shout out to that GameStop deal where you become a pro member. You could have gotten a lot of those figs at 1999.
Yeah,
But that's where we're at now, where a sale is just bringing those prices back down to what they used to be before
right.
all this shipping nonsense. But you know, Hasbro, Mattel, they held that price point for a long time, afraid of shaking up the market. They didn't want to increase that price point to 22.99, 24.99. But now, because of material costs, because of the shipping fiasco, that I think is getting cleared up. But the time was right to increase that price. So I don't know if people are going to keep collecting like they were on the onset of pandemic, or even beforehand, like when we had Mando and the Revelation series on the horizon.
Yeah. I did remember my thought now. It's still
Okay.
Black Series. So I was just going to say how I was actually upset that the Skystriker didn't have any Fan First Fridays besides, I think, maybe the initial one.
Mm.
And Star Wars had one almost every week for the Rancor. But then what's funny is they thought that was enough. That was the strategy Hasbro had with the Rancor, was these big shows at the end of the week and then nothing. Where GI Joe team was the opposite. They didn't have any of the Fan First Fridays really, but then it was an onslaught of sit reps, like you said, interaction with fans. The marketing was on point. The marketing was nowhere for the Rancor on the last day. There was nothing. There was only the email that you get, the generic Hasbro Pulse email, if you remember. Last day to back it. Other than that, we got nothing from the team. No live stream, no update, no countdown, no nothing. Where this felt far more like a mega event for the Skystriker. I mean, they are introducing O-Ring with this. If this doesn't succeed, O-Ring fails. There was a lot more at stake, if you will, but that I don't even know that because Star Wars has to answer to Disney. I mean, Hasbro Star Wars has to answer to Disney. So it's kind of strange how the parallels of the approaches of these two HasLabs and kind of seeing what worked and what didn't. Like the early big shows weren't enough where the late social media marketing worked. So maybe Patrick and his team, or whoever's going to be the team in Star Wars, will kind of see what the Joe team did and see that kind of the hands-on hit the boots on the ground approach worked.
Yeah.
Which is naturally what a Kickstarter crowdfund thing is. It isn't a corporate thing. It's, hey, I'm not a corporate thing, so entity, so I need your help. And the Disney Hasbro approach was, you love Star Wars, you're gonna buy it, and that didn't fly with even the fans. Like we always say on every show, Star Wars fans love to spend money and Joe fans don't. If you hit the boots running, we'll come a coming. So we'll pay for it. So yeah, that's kind of my last final thought on the HasLab until we get more updates on the Skystriker. But we can kind of, I know we've done like 3 or 4 or 5 shows in a row on this, but we can put it to bed. But we just want to give this ready. 3, 2, 1. Joe! It was a win. But Black Series Boba Fett, I'm glad it comes with the face sculpt. I didn't expect, the samurai throne Boba Fett from the very last episode of The Mandalorian Season 2 to actually come with Tamara Morrison's head. I thought it was just going to be just the Boba Fett helmet, so that was a nice surprise. But for an extra $10, yeah, I don't know if that's if that justifies it or not. But Cobb Vanth is the same price, so that's just the way they're going right now.
To see how long they can sustain this with all the other figs from Book of Boba Fett, from the Obi-Wan show, from the show, hopefully they don't price themselves out of a line. Yeah. But speaking of other places where the prices are low, man, shout out to Walmart and these crazy clearance sales, right?
Yeah, it was dope.
Now you ended up copying MODOK from Marvel Legends for like $20 or something like that, right?
21, I think it was $21.99. The retail on that, the MSRP is at least $45.99.
Yeah, BBTS because that's what I paid for mine.
BBTS and Entertainment Earth, I think, was $49.99, or at least BBTS was almost $50. So to get this for 40% of the cost, $21, I couldn't say no. I watched a couple episodes of the show, I'm not good with it. What is it? Stop motion?
I'm a fan of the show on FX, but I like that whole stop motion robot chicken type aesthetic, right? Which I take it you're not pretty much a fan of, which is why you waited to get your
Right.
action figure more than half off.
Yeah, it paid off, but you always need more villains in the Marvel universe because they have so many superheroes, as you know, between X-Men and the Spider-Verse
Right.
and the Avengers and everything. So yeah, it's great to get a MODOK. I mean, it's a great figure, but for $50, hell no. So yeah, 21, cool. I also got a Union Jack. Now I know Union Jack and Captain Britain are only together in the country only. If you read
Yeah, yeah.
comics, they don't really interact. It's kind of different times. There's some MI13 kind of things going on, so where they kind of cross over. But I was like, it would be so cool to have a Union Jack with a Captain Britain, and then if they ever come out with another Blade because of the movie, then I'll already have my Union Jack. And you can always repurpose a Union Jack into a classified Joe, Steel Brigade, or another Ninja, or
Yeah. International heroes, man. Yeah.
yeah, dude. For $15, I definitely jumped on that Union Jack. Plus, it provides the free shipping from Walmart because you got to
There
spend
you
at
go.
least $35. So it was a great deal. It was a good night for Walmart.
Yeah, people might still want to check those out this weekend. Speaking of what else to check out, Fan First Friday today, Hasbro Pulse, they had Power Rangers with the new Zord Ascension project. Now, they kicked things off with the Red Ecliptor action figure, which, because it's not Mighty Morphin, I know nothing about. But I do know Mighty Morphin love the original OG Power Rangers, and they came out swinging with the new Dino Megazord. Premium detail, 1/144th scale. Shout out to my Gunpla people out there. They know what that means.
Right.
But they had it in battle mode. They had it in tank mode. They have some cool stuff where you can flip open the cockpits of each individual Zord. You see like little teeny Power Rangers, but they also have the Power Rangers standalone. They even, if you take off the Megazord's cockpit, you see that they have the 5 Power Rangers teamed up together inside the cockpit.
Oh,
So
that's sick. That's sick.
that is a lot of fun. So
Dope.
at retail at $165.99 on Pulse. I think it's $159 at Big Bad Toy Store. But if you go to Entertainment Earth, you can also use a coupon code 210-3212 to get $15 off $100 free shipping. You heard?
210-3212. 210-3212.
That was 210-3212. Shout out to entertainmentearth.com, straight out of Simi Valley.
Word.
That's
Hey,
that's the mixtape.
we got, speaking of Fan First Fridays, we got some breaking news right now. And we were talking Marvel Legends. They're doing a Fan First Thursday,
The 16th.
December. Oh, you know that too. December 16th. So there you go. Just wanted to put that out there. I'm pretty sure there's a Christmas episode coming up with 2 out of 3 are big Marvel Legends fans. So maybe they'll touch upon that and make an exception, like a 5-minute exception on their Christmas episode on episode 55 coming up soon with K-Wish, Robbie, and Ronnie. Maybe they'll touch upon the Marvel Legends. So
All right.
stay tuned next week for that.
Yeah, man, save your cheddar. Once again, that's why we want those sales out of Walmart. I think they had Batman the Drowned for like $858, $898. They even had Red Sun Superman and some of those McFarlane DC multiverse figures. Talking about DC, we're looking at the Beast Kingdom Darkseid, the dynamic action heroes,
Dude.
1/9 scale. Now, with bigger figures like Darkseid and what have you, you can combine those different scales. So tell us more about Beast Kingdom's Darkseid, dude.
Well, like you said, this can work with your McFarlane 7-inch. It can work with your 6 to 6.5-inch Mezco,
Mezcos, yeah.
Tamashi SH Fig Arts, and man, my DC collection is mostly McFarlane 7, but then I have a Mezco, meets Mafex SH Fig Arts, and man, this Darkseid is perfect for it. He's supposed to be almost 9 feet anyway. I think he's 8'9" is his height in the comics. And then so if you look at Batman, a 6-inch Batman is 6 feet.
Yeah.
And you look at a 9-inch Darkseid, right? 9 feet. So it's perfect. And because he's so big at 9, you could still cheat it with the 7. It won't look that off.
Yeah. So we have like the different effects. I love that the Omega Beam effects wrap around the dude's neck. That's tight. I like how it compares like with the Omega Beam effects from the Storm Collectibles Darkseid, but this one's even better because of the LED lights.
Oh yeah,
in the head.
Crazy. Yeah, nuts. Yeah, so the 2 sets of those and 155 4 for
Mhm.
one figure, but it's not going to
I
get
mean,
any better than this.
you get what you pay for, you know. So it's like get the good stuff.
Yeah, so we'll see what the BBTS price is. It's not up yet. I'll probably do one of do the safe way, man. Big Bad Toy Store or Entertainment Earth with
Yeah,
maybe with the code and add it, and then you can always cancel. If you order direct, you are gonna screw yourself up if your finances
yeah,
go down.
yeah.
Speaking of that, we could go over that Storm collectible.
Oh yeah, you talked about the Devil Jin from Tekken
Yeah.
7, right? So it has the wings, it has the deco on the chest. I think there was a little controversy or controversy, as Fabio likes to say, with the seamless rubber torso. So what's going on with that? They're trying something new.
Yeah, cause so it's funny. I'll post like my WWE elites, and then our friend Mark Weber, he goes right at it. Oh, what's with the articulated, torso? It looks like, because it's got that big line, and it looks too much like a toy.
Mhm.
So now Storm Collectibles is like, oh, we want to make this look more statuesque, seamless torso. But then people have complained about the rubber there kind of wearing off over time. But some people support it. It's kind of a mixed thing. And then also Jin's wings, they are claimed to be too small. But in my opinion, if they're too big, I might not be able to place it with the other characters.
Mhm,
So I
mhm.
kind of sometimes I don't mind if things are scaled down so they actually fit together. If you get the wings big, then you got less room for the other
Yeah, so like the
playroom.
NECA Goliath from Gargoyles, like that's one's going to take up a lot of space in and of itself.
Yep.
So you might want to wait for the sales price. And now
That's
shout
fine.
out to GameStop. A lot of those Storm collectible figs, every so often you can get at a good price on GameStop or Bluefin brands. Like sometimes they just got to clear shit. That's when I got a lot of my first Storm collectible toys, just on those sales. So
Nice.
this looks like it's destined for that tag.
Yeah, because I loved when I played Tekken 7, Tiger King, King, and yeah, and Devil Jin were my jam. So it's kind of like since I got King, I don't have the other Jin, I might go with Devil Jin. But I don't want to pay the probably with the wings, it's probably gonna be 99.99.
Yeah.
So something around 65-ish, especially if there are complaints and it's not the greatest figure, kind of what, how I paid Marcus Phoenix. I paid about 45 for I paid about retail. But if I can go down, 25, $30 on this in the future, I'll probably get it. I mean, this figure's not going to be out for a while anyway. So
I mean, it's getting hard out there, man. You're talking about 220 for Skystrikers. You're talking about 150 for Darkseid. It's like you're able to recoup costs on the sales from Walmart or this place or that place, right?
mm,
Um, we were talking about the Super 7 Animaniacs. Now, I love the Animaniacs. Super 7s, those Ultimates went from $45 to $55, and these Animaniacs are no different. And they're going to be small figures. They're going to be small figures. We got the Warner Brothers and the Warner sister, Yakko, Wacko, Dot. We also got Pinky and the Brain. When you have small figures like that, yes, they come with extra head sculpts. Yes, they come with extra hands. I feel like Hasbro could always learn a thing or two from Super 7, from NECA, when we get all these extra goodies that we're not getting in the Black Series. More on that later.
yep.
But at least you get like a lot of cool accessories. We see like the different maps of the United States or the world maps. If you know Animaniacs, you know that those songs are a lot of fun. United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama. Like I love that stuff, right? There's zany to the max. There's baloney in their slacks, right? And I love getting diorama pieces. Shout out to the Muppets from Diamond Select. Shout out to Extreme Sets. You can have a lot of fun with those, right? You can build a lot of cool stuff. But you have to stack them with all those goodies to justify that $55 price point.
Yeah.
So just really depends. I think you're collecting the GI Joe Ultimates, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's I have two Thundercats. I got Panthro and Lion-O, and that's where my collection goes. I can admire from afar. I don't even have to admire from afar. They're in the living room thanks to my
Okay.
roommate. So yeah, I love Thundercats, but it's not a. But Joe's definitely, especially American, real American hero, went all in. Especially the second wave sealed it because I actually remember I canceled the first wave direct. and then was able to reorder it on BBTS because of how good the second wave was. I
Okay.
did that, but yeah. I'm just not gonna army build $55 characters. That's
Yeah. So would you say, but are you getting your money's worth from Super 7? That's the question of the day.
I think $40 is fair,
Okay.
but I mean, I'm a Joe guy, so I'm going in. I mean, then again, we're paying $40 for O-Ring, Storm Shadow, and Snake Eyes, $20 a piece for figures that big with
Yeah.
no zero articulate. I mean,
Hey
like
man, you
little.
think that's crazy? Take a look at Joy Toy one of these days. I almost went in on those, almost went in on the mechs and all that stuff. Take a look at Acid Rain. Take a look. There's some 118 figs. They'll take your money, bro. They will take your money.
Yeah,
So hopefully this holiday season, everybody watching Toy Kind of Mood, thank you for joining us on episode 54.
no,
Save
yeah.
your money up. Don't forget to show some love to your friends and family. Get them some toys, or just get them some gift cards. Not everyone's into this toy shit like we are. And save a dollar where you can, man. Make that dollar holler. Any closing thoughts, Travis?
Yeah, for all those who backed the Skystriker, yo, Joe, baby, we did it. We did it. We didn't think we'd do it. We doubled up. We destroyed the day G.I. Joe destroyed Star Wars. Amazing. You guys did it. That's the little brand that could. We have zero media besides a movie no one likes besides me.
Yeah.
And an old cartoon from 40 years ago. So, it was a huge day. Big victory party for the Joe brand. Love it. Love to see the continuation. So I can't wait for the next Fan First Friday, whether it's the HasLab or more classified or whatever. So I get excited by anything GI Joe now, and it's taken over the world. I love it.
Yeah. Shout out to Chaz the Guru on IG. That dude is a meme lord. He's a meme legend. He gave a shout out to you. You gave him some meme fuel. So you can check that out on Instagram.
Definitely. And rumor has it there may be more Joe content coming to A Toy Kind of Mood. So we'll see. We're in talks with some folks. So for a little bit of a project, maybe some additional content. So we'll see. You and I love Joe so much that we can't just keep talking about Joe on a general toy show every week. It's too biased. So why not just maybe do our own show? We'll see what happens.
All right. Yeah.
We'll see. Happy holidays, guys. Stay tuned next week.
All right. Peace.